It is exactly time to get started, 2 p.m. in the East. So hello again to everyone. Welcome to Cadre Talk. I am Kate Zeitvogel. I am the marketing specialist here at Cadre. We developed Cadre Talk as an opportunity to give you a chance to get a break from your day, grab a drink, maybe have some of that caffeine if you need it, but also to learn a little something new from an industry expert. So we are here to help us all re-engage in our industry. So mark your calendars, Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we will be right here having that 30-minute conversation with an industry pro. Before we get started, let me share a little bit about who we are. Cadre is a marketplace connecting clients and freelancers in an easy-to-use, compliant online platform. Whether you need on-site staffing, virtual meeting assistance, or help with meeting and events project work, bottom line is Cadre is your source to find that talent, both affordably and compliantly. And if you are a gig worker in this industry, this is your go-to place to find work. If you're looking for long-term placement, our partner Meeting Jobs offers an industry-specific job board, as well as services in retained search and resume pre-qualification services for the events and meetings industry. Together, Cadre and Meeting Jobs provide a full complement of labor resources across the hiring spectrum, from full-time planners to project-based contract planners to on-site event staff. For more, please visit us at hirecadre.com and at meetingjobs.com. A couple housekeeping notes. We are live streaming today's event via YouTube. So for those that are not able to join us, but are watching via YouTube, welcome. Thank you for joining us. For all of you here in the webinar with us, we are so happy to have you here with us, but you are automatically muted, camera turned off, so there's no need to switch out of your sweats. But like I mentioned before, please send your Q&As to the Q&A section. We don't want them getting lost in our chat section. Lastly, mark your calendars. Wow, my Boston just came out for a second. Mark your calendars for next Thursday. Todd will be chatting with Jonathan Howe, the renowned industry lawyer, about unasked questions. What should I be asking? This will be great for figuring out exactly all of those things that we don't know that we should be asking. And Jonathan is such a great resource for that. Today, though, I am so excited to be chatting with Heather Hansen O'Neill. Heather is an award-winning speaker and author. She's firing up everyone from entrepreneurs of new businesses to Fortune 100 companies to improve their relationships and to lead more effectively in a rapidly changing corporate environment. Heather is a guest expert on NBC, ABC, CBS, the CW, and on Fox, and she's a co-host on the Inspired Team Leader radio show. I'd also like to take a moment to say thank you to David Reederman of Beyond the Norm Speakers for sponsoring today's Cadre Talk. Thank you so much, David. And Heather, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Kate. I am super excited to be here. I love your energy. I thought I was the only one with that much energy. It's fantastic.
It's rare to find another one to match that level of energy. And I promise it's not all the caffeine I drink. So
it has nothing to do with the caffeine.
No, it's just the love of life, I think. And that's primarily why we are here today, so that you can help us break through those barriers and really take advantage of all of the opportunities that come our way and help us grow our careers. So to get us started, Heather, what do you see as the top 5 challenges facing us?
Oh my goodness. I mean, 5. I know, we got so many. We were talking about that earlier before everybody came on.
I know. So we'll keep it to 5.
We'll keep it to 5. And for every challenge, there's an opportunity or a solution too. So I would say the first challenge would be that there's this massive change in our reality. So we have to look at the elephant in the room, okay? Things have changed. That's the reality of the situation. The second one is our perception of that reality. And that's going to differ from, person to person, and it can sometimes get in our way and sometimes serve us greatly, but it can be a challenge for us. Then there's this ongoing uncertainty and fear. I mean, we can handle anything for a period of time, right? But because we don't really know when things are going to end, it becomes oppressive for us. The third one is this struggle to take consistent action. I find that now people are in spurts, a little bit of spurts with their job hunt or with their businesses in sales. There's these I'm going to do all this stuff and then I'm going to get really frustrated. So we need to take that consistent action. And then the fifth one is the need to embrace this new version of who we are. And that to me is really exciting, but it can be difficult for people. Do you want the solutions too, or just the challenges?
Well, I think that it's really great being able to identify those challenges, because we need to be able to first identify what that challenge is, right? And I know that you were talking about it, that a lot of us can feel really stuck, and being able to identify feeling stuck is a big deal, of course, but how do we move from feeling stuck to unsticking ourselves, essentially?
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love it for two reasons, because it's a great term, right? But you gave us the solution. You didn't even realize you did.
Okay. Lay it on me, Heather.
You said, how do we move from feeling stuck into getting unstuck or unsticking ourselves? I love that. That's fantastic, because there's ownership to the way that you said it. But the solution, part of the solution is that movement. I think that when people are in a state of fear, in a state of change, they tend to hold on and they become stuck in a sense of grasping and trying to hold tight to what they have because they're in this fear state or lack. And so what happens is that in order to release that energy, you have to move. You have to move your body. You have to take risks. You have to try things. Even if, like, literally move your body, taking a walk, doing something that changes the room that you're in, getting outside, whatever it is. Movement is a big part of it. And I mentioned the generation of energy. That's a big one too. A lot of times, we talk to people and I tell them, you've got to do something for you. You've got to feel that well. You've got to generate your energy again, because you need to be able to show up fully as who you want to be in all of your interviews, right? And or whatever they're looking to do. And so they have to take the time to fill themselves and to do things that create that passion and that energy and that fun. And then the third part is connecting, and to know and recognize that in this land of isolation, the most important thing that you can do is to connect, but the way that we do it, to be very cognizant of who we're connecting with, not just to call somebody up to complain about the same old things and to hear them complain about the same old things, but to pick that high energy person like Kate, somebody who's always going to see that positive, who's going to lift you up, who's going to brainstorm with you solutions. This is really, really important. And also to reach out to the people that maybe you haven't heard from, who the last time you talked to, they said, I'm fine. If you have a prompting that somebody's not fine, reach out to them, and it'll feel really good and re-energize you too, to help them in their situation right now.
So it doesn't have to be just me unsticking myself, essentially, which is kind of a refreshing thought. Because I think so often that, especially for someone like me, I feel like I have to take it all on myself. And if I'm stuck, I'm the only one who can unstick myself. But reaching out to others is so nice. And in one of your previous TED Talks, not your most recent one, you had that wonderful illustration of learning to do the high wire tightrope for the first time, and the grasping on desperately to that support rope, and then reaching out and then finally letting go and having such a wonderful rush. That letting go can, of course, be so scary, but I think that so many of us can feel like when we let go, we're the only ones out there, and we forget that there is that safety net underneath us, which I think that you so beautifully illustrate with that.
To cultivate that with the accountability and ask people, tell people what you're looking to do so they can call you on it and be that safety net for you. But the key to that whole thing is the releasing. We hold on to things that keep us frustrated and sad and down, and we're ingesting things that are all around us that we have no control over. We need to release some of that stuff.
That's so important to be able to release it, I think. And you had mentioned getting up and moving, and if you can't physically get up and move, but you know that you need to release some of that, like you just feel stuck, it's one of those days. Maybe it's the most Monday of Mondays. Any other suggestions for
Sure.
getting out?
Well, if you literally can't get up, you can stretch while sitting in. I'm standing right now, but if you're sitting in your, and here's the thing, okay, so I'm standing on purpose because not that I need more energy, but it helps to energize me, right? And so you may want to lift your computer up for any of you out there who want to energize, lift your computer up so that you can stand during it. Do some stretches here. Call someone up. Remember the connection, the accountability partner. Call somebody up. Write a gratitude journal. Journal about the things that are going right in your world, about the dreams, the visions, the things you want to manifest for the future. Get clarity. There's so many things. I could go on and on that you can do right there while seated.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for those extra tips, because I know we can't always just jump right up and shake things off. In your most recent TED Talk, though, Becoming Conscious, how doing what you must can change the world. In it, you address, like, I think it really addresses like why we're here today at this Cadre Talk. Once we find that fire in us, it can change the world, is what you're saying. What it sounds like, which is pretty cool. So what is the importance of that? Why is that so important to find that fire within each of us?
Well, okay, so there's so much in what you just asked that I literally could spend an hour on it. So I'm going to give you the condensed
Okay.
answer here. But the talk is about becoming conscious, meaning becoming aware of our role in the world, right? So how important it is to recognize that fire within you, to recognize your strengths, to recognize that you have the power to choose your beliefs, to choose the way that you see the world, the way that you show up in the world. And when you do that, you have an impact on the world. You can change generational patterns. You can reduce bias and violence, and you can help to make a difference and an impact on everyone that you touch. And it's not just you and I because we're here, we're speaking to other people. It's literally everyone listening has that same power to do that.
That's amazing. And I can feel that already, just knowing how much I can change just within my own life, that ripple effect, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that it can apply not just to my personal life, but to my professional life as well, and how I choose to show up there and how I want to present myself there. I don't work alone, though. I don't think any of us work by ourselves solely.
And even if we think we do, we
right.
don't. We're impacting people. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I know that as a keynote speaker, in addition to addressing the personal side of it, you're also especially adept at touching on building teams. So how do we build that fire within our team, and how do I get my team members to be on board with that?
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Another really good, deep question that I could spend now a half day program on, but don't worry, I won't. I'll be brief. I'm thinking maybe 3 solutions for now. Okay. And so the first one is to see your employees or your vendors or your clients, whoever it is that you're working with on what you consider your team, and that's going to look different from person to person. Remember that they're individuals, right? And to show up looking at them, becoming present with them, and finding out what they need, and engaging with them with that pure presence. That is going to go a long way. Now, I'm going to say that when you start with that individuality, then you're more cognizant of the second part, which is the beauty of the diversity within teams. If you just look at the people on your team as my team, and you don't take the moment to really see each of them, you're not going to recognize the diversity of their skills, of their perspectives, of what they bring to the table, their experiences. And that is so important today more than ever before, is that we need to be able to embrace that and recognize that our differences, the things that could irritate us about other people, right? Because maybe, we don't have this in common. That's what makes the team most effective. It's what creates innovative solutions. It's what helps us create better products and services. So I'm a firm believer in that. And the third one is to ask for more input. I don't think that people communicate enough. And even if you think that you're communicating, even if you think you're over communicating, I'm pretty sure you're probably not communicating enough. And I hear it. I'm saying this just because I work with employees all the time and I work with management all the time. And there is this disconnect. We want to know during what has happened this past year. People are like, I'm furloughed. I don't know how long that's going to be. I don't know when we're gonna come back, if we're gonna come back. And the leadership isn't not communicating to be mean. It's because they don't have an answer, maybe, right? But even when you don't have the answer, the simple respect of saying, I don't have an answer, will go so far in building that rapport and that trust and loyalty within a team.
So just being human is.
Oh, yeah, that. There you go. I could have summed it up in one word.
I mean, come on, Heather. I like all the words, but but it really is. It's being human, but it's the communication as well. Really, like you said, you may feel like you're over communicating, but you probably aren't. But I think also what I'm trying to tie together is the humanity and the communication portion of it, and it's okay to acknowledge when you don't have all the answers. And I think that having that human moment helps build that community feeling, and helps develop that connection. In this virtual world, are there additional things that we can or should be doing to help foster that community atmosphere?
Oh, 100%, definitely. Because what this does, even though we're connecting here, right?
Yeah.
What it does is it builds walls.
Yeah.
Inadvertently, it builds walls. And so what we want to do is we want to think about reducing those walls, breaking those walls down. And how do we do that? How do we connect? Is it more frequent interactions? Is it the one-on-one as well as the team? Is it getting a little bit more intimate with the questions, meaning, hey, how are you? Is everything okay at home? And that's okay in this world, even though it wouldn't have been in the past.
Sure.
Right? What I'm thinking is that the biggest thing is the transparency, the reality. I mean, recognizing, now there could be a kid crying, there could be a dog barking, and we're so much more accepting of who we are, but not just accepting it, but embracing it and finding creative ways to engage. What you're doing right here. Hey, 2:00 on a Thursday, grab a drink, join us. Maybe you're ahead of time and you're having a glass of wine. Maybe you're in California, you're having a cup of coffee. Kate and I are having some, it doesn't even matter. We're coming together, we're having a conversation, we're connecting, answering questions, providing some energy, some information, and then you can go forward more energized and ready to take on the world. It's so important to just recognize that we have to do things differently, and this is not going away.
That completely makes sense. And do you find that, does it help with, because we are kind of stuck in this virtual semi-hybrid world right now, that changing up the method of how we communicate? So sometimes we do Zooms all the time. I feel that a lot of people get Zoom fatigue, right? So is the old-fashioned phone call a reasonable way to find that connection again? Or have we just so moved past that? Because
no. Go back. Okay. Add a cord to your phone if you think of it that way. No, see, and I was just having this conversation with someone yesterday. We're talking about, we really want to do something special for some of these new clients. What should we do? And this foreign concept of maybe we should actually send them something through the mail. I'm like, pick up the phone. And it's just whatever it is that's different. If you typically do a Zoom call, add a breakout room. Maybe you do it at a different time during the day. Maybe you do pick up the phone. Maybe you have, like I said, smaller groups, bigger groups, whatever it is. If there are times now where you can add hybrid events for those of you in the event world, I've been doing more and more of those, and I love them as long as they're done with the intention of the experience. We're not going off on a tangent, don't worry. But yes, think innovation, think transparency.
Excellent. We are getting down to the last few minutes here. I've got a few more questions before we turn to our audience, but those that have questions, be sure to pop them in. Heather, I know that you are on a panel next week with one of our Cadre Talk alums, Wayne Robinson. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to squeeze it in right before hopping on and moderating this.
I know, it's close. It's close.
Yes, it will be close. I might have to leave early, but tell me more about it. Who else is on this with you? What's it about? And how can people sign up for this?
Sure. I can't even tell you how excited I am about this, because this is one of those things. This is how things work in today's world if you're open, right? So connection led to a conversation, led to spark of an idea. And I was doing a podcast with Colleen Roche of Securian. I also did one with Wayne Robinson and Patricia Kerr. And so I was talking to Colleen, and she was telling this great story, but we had stopped the recording. And I'm like, Colleen, why did you say that while we were on the recording? And she had the brilliant idea of, why don't we bring some of these amazing people together for a really different kind of conversation? And so we did. We put it together. I think I mentioned Patricia Kerr, Wayne Robinson, Colleen Roach, Jeff Welger of Arch, and Katrina Kent of Liberty Mutual. We've come together, and they have some incredible stories, different things that you are not going to hear anywhere else. And it's next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be so much fun.
That sounds incredible. I believe our moderator has added the
great, thank you,
to the chat session. So if people would like to join, please do. It sounds amazing. It's called Ignite the Change, which all of those people together, change makers. I love it. It's going to be a great session next week. That's why I'm going to try and squeeze into that one before coming over to this one. And on that same thought process, at least, of change makers, you have an organization called LFocus. What does that mean? What does that stand for? Tell me a little bit more.
Oh my gosh, somebody did their homework. I love that. So LFocus is one of my passion projects, and it stands for Leadership for Our Children's Ultimate Success. That's what the focus is for. And it's a give back. So basically I created this opportunity to provide leadership concepts to students who might not be able to access them in their situations currently. And so anytime that a company hires me to do a keynote, a portion of that will go to providing a program for a group that is in need, that would love to embrace some of the same leadership concepts to help provide our up and coming amazing leaders with the tools that they need to succeed. So it's definitely a win-win, because then they come up into these companies who sponsored them. So it's a project I love, and I so appreciate you bringing it up. Thank you.
My pleasure. I think that that's such a wonderful way to help us start having our ripple out into our community to help professionally. So by hiring you, we can also help others, is what you're saying.
I love how you just got right to the heart of it there.
We do have a couple of questions that have come in. So let me start out with this. So many people are stuck, and we adjust the unsticking ourselves, and movement really helps with that. But sometimes gratitude journal, that sort of touching base with an accountability partner is really great. How does one step out of their comfort zone carefully? I think that there's that gap between, we can recognize where we are, we can recognize where we want to be. How do we make that jump happen, Heather?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I wish I had more time. Okay.
I know.
This is another, so for those of you who don't know me very well, I'm an adventure junkie. And so I do crazy things so you don't have to. Meaning, like, I'll jump out of an airplane, I'll fly on the trapeze, I'll swim with sharks, so you don't have to. But the point is that I'm learning these lessons about expanding comfort zones, right? The whole moral to the story, the whole point is that everything that you want, everything, that job that you want, that opportunity that you want, that deeper connection, that relationship that you want is typically outside of your comfort zone. We don't do the things, if we stay in our comfort zone, we don't do the things that will get us the extraordinary life. And so if we want the extraordinary life, we need to become uncomfortable every day and practice and build the muscles of expanding that comfort zone so that the comfort zone gets so big that it takes over the circle of our extraordinary life, what we really want. And that can only be done by becoming uncomfortable for you every day. So that might mean, going outside. It may be calling someone in a cold call. It might be reaching out and doing something on social media that you're not used to doing. So whatever's uncomfortable for you, then do that. And it will prepare you for the opportunities that will come to you, and you want to be ready when they come, because they will come if you're thinking about what you really want in that extraordinary circle.
And it becomes no longer an uncomfortable situation because you've turned it into almost a habit that you can tackle and handle. I know cold calling is a good example. It's one I do not like doing. So that's just a good example for me.
Most people don't really like it. Some people like it, but
Sure. And I know, like speaking in front of crowds and that sort of thing, and everyone has their own little tips and tricks. Yeah. But it sounds like the best way to step out of your comfort zone is figure out what makes you uncomfortable and go do it.
Yes, go do it.
Go do it. Okay.
Just do it. Be nice. Just do it.
Heather, I feel like that is the best note to end on. We are just about out of time as it is. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for joining us today. Your energy and your tips and insights have been incredible. I want to take a second to thank David Reederman once again of Beyond the Norm Speakers. Thank you again, David. Everyone, thank you all for joining us again today. Heather, once again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I've loved being here. I appreciate it.
Everyone, thank you so much. Join us again next week, 2 p.m., where Todd is talking with Jonathan Howe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great weekend. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.